you before we go to, you described Ms. Mokwele's appointment as a token appointment. It's an unfair statement to make, having not seen her CV, having not seen her qualifications. Can you please, in this commission, withdraw the statement that her appointment is a token appointment? It is an insulting thing to say.
I would have to go further than to withdraw. I would have to apologize that that statement was made.
Yes. Because it's one thing to say an appointment is irregular.
Yes.
It's quite another to say it's a token appointment.
Yes. I base it on what I was given, but I accept, having gone through this file, that the word unsuitable is unsuitable, and that the word token is wholly inappropriate.
Sorry to interrupt.
I accept that.
Is that fair?
That is fair.
Yes. Now, let's look at the suitable qualification. What suitable qualification do you say Ms. Mokwele did not have when she was appointed to this role? What is that suitable qualification that you say she did not have?
I must. I would have to have sight of the. I can't tell you off my head. I'd have to have sight of the advert.
Go to file 2, page 178.
File 2. And because Commissioner Komalo seems to know all the pages here.
No, it's file 2, page 178.
I am there.
Yes. So
I would have
those
to read
are, if you look at item 3.2.
Yes, I have gone
page.
through that one.
So that is the position in question.
Yes.
Do you see that in bullet 1, it requires that the person must have at least a 3-year degree or diploma?
In policing, public administration?
Yes. And
management
then it
law,
says
etc.
in policing or public administration or criminology or intelligence or electrical or mechanical engineering. Do you see that? Or did IDEC stop at policing and say?
No, I'm reading as you. Yes. And I don't know her qualifications, but the fact that you point me to that means they must be there.
Stop there, Advocate Johnson. You don't know her qualifications.
I know she has, it was called megatronics.
Do you know what her qualifications are?
Not all her qualifications, no.
So why do you make a statement under oath to say she's not suitable for this position if you don't know what her qualifications are? Why do you make a statement to this commission to say the big picture will show that she doesn't have qualifications? Can I ask that they be flighted so that we can look at them? Can we go to 270 on the same file? Are you there?
Yes.
So that's a degree in engineering, industrial engineering. Do you see that?
I see that.
So already she meets the qualification. Now go to the next page on 271.
I see that.
Are you there?
I am there.
Now that's a diploma in mecha, not mega, mechatronics. Now, what is the relevance of that? That is the core description of this role. If you go back to the advert on 176, you will see that the core functions, what crime intelligence was looking for, is exactly this qualification. Because the description of the role tells you that they want somebody who's qualified in mechanics and electronics and all of those. Do you see those?
I see that, Commissioner.
Yes. Now, from 270, I don't want to show her matric certificate. No. It's not fair to Ms. Mokwele, but it's on 272. Please don't flight it. It's quite clear that this is somebody who is very bright. I must say this to you. Before I saw these files, the picture painted in my head was that crime intelligence appointed a receptionist from BMW. That's the picture I had in my head. Until I saw these files, then it became clear to me that this person is not just qualified, but her qualification exceeds the requirements. Now, from 273, which we can flight, it's about 12 certificates that I've counted, because one of the requirements was that you must be familiar with computers, you must be familiar with finance, you must be familiar with how the public service works. So there's a series of them. I counted about 12. Cybersecurity being one of them on page 281. There's about 12. We don't have to look at all 12 of them, otherwise it will take the whole day. Now, having seen all of this, do you stand by what is stated in 25.1 of your affidavit that she does not have the suitable qualifications?
So she has must have at least 3 years, an applicable postgraduate qualification, relevant in middle management, learning programs, must have a minimum period of 3 years appropriate managerial experience in the field of the post. For me, the only one, I'm not disputing what you're asking me. I just want
Are you saying she's not bilingual and she doesn't have a driver's license?
No,
because those are some of the requirements.
No.
Do you want to dispute those?
No, must have
So
a minimum.
what do you say? What is the qualification that you say in 25.1 of your affidavit that she doesn't have? What
must have a minimum period of 3 years appropriate managerial experience in the field of the post.
Is that a qualification? Experience is a qualification.
No, it was just a requirement.
Yes. Now, your affidavit says she does not have the qualifications.
In terms of the documents that I now have sight of, that is incorrect.
It is incorrect what is stated in your affidavit.
It is incorrect.
She does have the qualifications.
She does have the qualifications.
Now, what your investigators have done in their affidavit to the court, they have said, Ms. Mokwele does not have 7 years senior management experience, and therefore she does not qualify. Now show me on 179.
It doesn't say so.
Where it says you need 7 years senior management experience.
It does not say so.
And that is the basis for IDEC targeting this female person and subjecting her to criminal proceedings and humiliation. What the advert says is that you must have appropriate management experience. Where does one find a definition of appropriate management experience? Where does one find that? It's in the national instruction. It's in the definition section of the national instruction. And this is what the national instruction says. You must have experience above the level of a supervisor. That's all that was required. If Ms. Mokwele met those requirements, then she complied with the minimum requirements according to the advert. In her application for this position, she lists all those. She goes further and she says, I'm studying for my MBA. Are you aware of that?
No, I haven't gone through her affidavit.
Did you see her application for this job?
No.
Now, if you have not seen her application for this job, how can you make a recommendation, as you did in your prosecution memo, that she must be charged with fraud and this many other things? What fraud has she committed? According to the investigation, let's not go to what the court will decide. Yes. I don't want to get into what the charge sheet says.
Yes.
We limit ourselves to investigation that leads to arrests and charges. What
Correct.
Fraud has Ms. Mokwele committed that justifies? Let's look at page 200. What page 200 and 201 reflect is that there was a proposal that a panel be constituted. And that proposal or recommendation had to be approved by the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection. But also if you go to 201, you will see that Acting National Commissioner Support Services, Lieutenant General Nkua,
Yes.
approved it.
Correct.
So IDEC must accept that somebody higher than General Kumalo approved the appointment of this panel. Okay, now let's go to the shortlisting itself and the shortlisted candidates on page 222. Sorry, it starts on 221.
I am there, Commissioner.
So what you have here is a request for approval once candidates have been shortlisted. There's a request for approval. And if you look at the paragraph 2, the second bullet point. Are you there?
I am there.
Do you see that is the post section head, technical support services?
Correct.
Now, do you see that somebody higher than the panel actually went through the list of shortlisted candidates and examined whether each of them qualified to go through the interviews? Because in respect of that one candidate, they make it clear that here the requirements are not met and therefore this person cannot be shortlisted. Do you see that? Maybe take your time and just read paragraph 2.1.
I see that one.
And then 2.2.
I see that one.
And you can assume that the next page, paragraph 2.3 to paragraph 4,
Will have-
along the same lines. But look at paragraph 4 before we go to 223.
Sorry, paragraph 4.
Paragraph 4 on 222. It emphasizes the need to comply with the relevance policy prescripts. Do you see that?
I see that.
So SAPS looks at these things at a level above the panel. There is somebody who's reviewing the work of the panel to satisfy themselves that the panel is complying with the prescripts. And then you go to 223. Do you see that the approval is granted?
Sorry, 223.
223, Lieutenant General Nkua,
Yes.
Human Resource Management, grants the approval. And you need to read that with paragraph 2. So you must go back to 221. I'm going to read it into the record. Approval is hereby granted for the selection panels to proceed with the assessment of the shortlisted candidates for the post, which with due regard to the content of paragraphs below. Do you see that?
I see that.
So within SAPS, there was all that approval. And then we must now, I suppose, go to the national instruction. I won't read the paragraphs into the record. I will just draw your attention to the relevant paragraphs that one must look at when one assesses whether Ms. Mukwele or the panel have done anything wrong.
Sorry, Commissioner. I just need to find my document.
Help is on its way. Somebody's there to help you.
I'm told Commissioner Baloyi took it back.
Yes, Commissioner had given me a copy.
No, just go to file 3. We had
File-
located, I think, page 706.
File?
File 3.
It's okay, Commissioner, but
Page 706.
we have found it. Let us not dispossess you. Thank you.
Advocate Johnson, I'm going to go through this very quickly because
Yes.
so just look at Clause 2 or Section 2, I don't know whether they call them clauses or sections. Clause 2 of the national instruction.
If Commissioner would rather just give me the page number at the top, is that the 707?
That's correct. That would be 707.
Yes, thank you. I'm there.
Maybe for now then, just look at B in clause 2.
Done?
Do you see that this is what I was referring you to?
Yes.
And then I'm not going to read them, just
Yes.
clause 6, I'm just highlighting them to you. I'm not going to deal with them. Clause 6,
I see that.
clause 7 deals with the selection process.
I am there.
And then clause 12 deals with the recommendation by the panel.
I see that, Commissioner.
And then let me highlight this 13 subclause 2.
I saw that.
Do you see that it says the Deputy National Commissioner, Divisional Commissioner, Regional Commissioner, Provincial Commissioner consent must certify that the process took place in accordance with this national instruction?
I see that.
So at a level above the panel, you have 4 people who are not part of the panel who must certify that the process
Has been followed.
has been followed. Now, if those 4 people have certified that in this specific case a process has followed, don't you think it was necessary for IDEC to go ask them, why did you certify? On what basis? What was the reason? Because they would know the national instruction better than IDEC. Not so.
Correct.
Advocacy law, I think for now I will stop here.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Can I just raise my concern about your 25.1, the affidavit, even allowing for your explanation that you didn't look at the documents, so you never saw this advert. You relied on a briefing from your investigators and had no reason to doubt them, even allowing for that. The difficulty that I have with your 25.1 is that at the time that you prepared this affidavit,
Commissioner.
is that at the time that you prepare the affidavit for the commission, you now have the full set of documents. You have the docket, you as you prepare, and I must again assume that you prepped for this. You didn't rely on briefings when you came here. You looked at the documents, what they say, how did we get to those decisions, what were we relying on, because you know that you're going to be asked questions about this. And if that's what you did, I have a difficulty that you still represent what you state in 25.1 when your documents, all your documents that you requested were collected by your investigators are now all before you. You're coming to the commission and you still repeat the statement in 25.1, which as Commissioner Khumalo has shown you, it's not supported by the documents that are in your own dockets. And it leads me to one of 2 possibilities that...
Breaking news. Bad news hits Andrea Johnson as her time in the spotlight takes another dramatic turn. South Africa is once again watching one of the country's biggest legal stories unfold, and this latest development has left many asking where things go from here. Just when it looked like advocate Andrea Johnson was ready to defend herself before the Madlanga Commission, the pressure became even greater. Viewers, this story has been full of unexpected moments from the very beginning. Questions have been raised, strong claims have been made, and now another twist has everyone paying close attention. Andrea Johnson, the head of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, found herself under intense questioning at the Madlanga Commission. The commission has been looking into serious allegations connected to high-profile police investigations, and Johnson's testimony quickly became one of the most closely watched moments. But here is where everything changed. During questioning, Johnson admitted that one of her earlier claims about Brigadier Dineo Mokwele was not based on information she had personally verified. She later withdrew the statement, apologized, and accepted that she had spoken without first checking Mokwele's qualifications herself. That moment immediately became one of the biggest talking points from the hearing. Think about that for a second. When someone leading such an important anti-corruption body has to withdraw a key statement under questioning, many viewers naturally begin asking what impact this could have on public confidence. But the questioning did not stop there. Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga and members of the commission continued pressing for answers on how certain decisions were made, how investigators reached their conclusions, and whether proper procedures had been followed. The hearing became more intense with every new question. And that is why this story has captured so much attention across South Africa. If you're following every major political and legal update, make sure you like this video and subscribe, because this case continues to develop almost every day. Now here comes another twist. Johnson also explained that she had stepped away from handling certain IDAC investigations involving senior crime intelligence officers because she believed her continued involvement could create a conflict of interest. According to testimony before the commission, she felt the attention had shifted away from the investigations themselves and onto her personally. That decision immediately raised fresh questions. Will this help restore confidence, or will it create even more debate about the investigations already underway? Those are some of the questions many South Africans are now asking as the commission continues its work. And remember, the Madlanga Commission is still hearing evidence. Its work is not yet complete, and more witnesses are expected as the inquiry continues. That means today's developments may not be the final chapter in this story, but there is still another important point that cannot be ignored. The Commission's questioning has focused not only on individual decisions, but also on whether investigations were conducted fairly and based on verified evidence. That is why every answer given in these hearings is receiving close public attention. Before we continue, tell us where you're watching from, because this is one story that could have lasting effects on South Africa's justice system. The big question now is simple. Will Andrea Johnson be able to rebuild confidence after these admissions? Or will the Commission's future findings bring even more surprises? That's only the first half of this story. The next developments become even more dramatic as the Commission examines additional evidence and responses from those involved. As the hearing continued, the atmosphere became even more serious. Every answer mattered, every document presented was carefully examined, and every response had the potential to change how the public viewed the investigation. That is why many viewers stayed glued to every update from the Madlanga Commission. But another important issue soon came into focus. Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga reminded everyone that the purpose of the Commission is not to rush to conclusions. Instead, it is there to carefully examine the facts, hear every side, and determine whether proper procedures were followed throughout these investigations. That message was important because emotions have been running high around this case for weeks. Now here is another twist. As Andrea Johnson answered more questions, attention shifted from one individual to the wider system itself. The Commission wanted to understand whether decisions inside IDAC were supported by verified information and whether investigators acted independently at every stage. Those questions may sound technical, but they carry major importance. If the public believes investigations are fair and based on facts, confidence in the justice system grows. If doubts begin to appear, rebuilding that trust can take a long time. That is exactly why every hearing has attracted so much attention. And remember, none of the Commission's work is the final judgment. Its role is to gather evidence, hear testimony, and eventually produce findings and recommendations after reviewing everything presented. So while today's developments are significant, the final outcome has not yet been decided. That means there could still be more witnesses, there could still be more documents, and there could still be more unexpected moments before this process reaches its conclusion. If you've been following this story from the beginning, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. We'll continue bringing you clear and balanced updates as new information becomes available. Now think about what happens next. If the Commission uncovers new evidence, it could reshape how this entire matter is understood. But if the evidence supports the explanations already given, today's headlines may be remembered very differently in the future. That uncertainty is what keeps everyone watching. For Andrea Johnson, these hearings have become one of the biggest tests of her public career. For the Commission, the challenge is to make sure every conclusion is based on facts rather than assumptions. And for South Africans, the hope is that the process strengthens confidence in the country's institutions, no matter what the final findings may be. The hearings are expected to continue, meaning today's developments are unlikely to be the last major update in this story. So now the question goes to you. Do you believe the Madlanga Commission will restore public confidence through its findings? Or do you think even bigger surprises are still ahead? Share your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over, and the next hearing could change everything once again.